Okay, there's more than one version of the quiz, but I'm only going to go over version A. I put this version, I scanned it and put on Edline already with the solutions. Okay, so now what's the difference? The difference is when I make up the quizzes, the multiple choices are scrambled. And then the FRQs, it's the same problem, there's just different numbers. So basically the quiz is the same, but your A, B, C, D answers for, let's say, version B would be different. All right, so which of the following equations for average velocity? So velocity is the change in displacement over the change in time. That's just the equation. Which of the following is the equation for acceleration? Acceleration, the change in velocity over the change in time. If you know the acceleration, so you know A, its initial velocity VI, and the time interval t, which of the following can you predict? So I just wrote out the equations, but you can actually remember that these are vectors so that you can figure out the direction, because if you find the final velocity, it would also tell you the direction. The magnitude of the car's final velocity, well, the magnitude is the number in the unit. So if you found the final velocity, VF is VI plus AT, because we have VI, A, and T, VF is a number, like 20 meters per second, plus a direction, like E, so if you knew all this, you could find that out. The displacement of the car, well, you could use this equation. So that's why it was all of the above. Number 4, the distance traveled divided by the time is the average speed. Remember that speed is distance over time, and displacement and velocity is displacement over time. These were just the definitions. I thought when I put this on the quiz that this was like one of the easiest questions because you just needed to know the definitions, and this was probably the most missed question, a definition. So I'm not really sure. What is the speed of an object at rest? I don't think anyone should have missed that. The difference between speed and velocity is the direction. That was again in the definition. Acceleration is divided. This is the same as this. Instead of it being the equation, it's just in words. The SI unit for acceleration is meters per second squared. I actually took the multiple choice questions from a middle school physical science book, not from a physics book, because I just wanted to do like basic questions. Or maybe this one was from the physics book, and maybe that. All right, let's flip over to the quiz, the back. Now on the test, we're going to have the same thing. We're going to have the rubrics like this. So when you do your problems on the test, on the FRQs, again, you want to write your given and your find, because you're going to get 2 points for doing that. So if you have all your stuff that you have here, you get credit for that. Then writing the basic equations, when I put equations, substitute in the answer. So everything is worth points. So if you don't do all this and you just write 198 meters, you're going to get 2 points for just the answer. The best way to do a problem is you chunk it. So Mr. Frank is driving a sports car at 24 meters per second. So that's how I know that's the initial velocity. At a constant slows at a constant rate to a stop. So stop, that means the final velocity is 0. In 16 seconds. So as I read each thing, I write in my given. What is the displacement of the sports car? Well, remember that displacement is x. So my variables are VI, VF, T, and x. And now I'm going to say to myself which equation has those 4 variables. Now the problem was people missed this because they didn't know the equations. And that's something you need to do. You need to know the equations for the test. The next one, it says Mr. Frank has a toy car. He gives it an initial velocity, so again, this is VI, and experience a constant acceleration, so this is A. What is the final velocity? So I want to find VF after 6 seconds. So I have VI, I have A, I have T, and I want to find VF, and now I'm going to say VI, A, T, and VF. Which equation has those 4 variables? And again, people miss this question because they didn't know their equations. Okay? So you have to study the equations. Now, what on here, the multiple choice were the same credit. Some of you did a great job. You got all the FRQs and you missed a couple of the multiple choice. On the test, the multiple choice are only worth 4 points each. Okay? Whereas on the quiz, everything was the same.